Okay, so I'm going to do an experiment to determine how much, if carbon dioxide increases the growth of a plant. But first I need to decide how I'm going to administer the carbon dioxide. So my choice is going to be between using yeast, water and sugar, or bicarb and vinegar. I'm actually preferring option number 1 at this stage. Then I'm going to take some plants. I'm going to try basil. I bought some seedlings, but I also bought some seeds of basil and tomatoes. So I might grow some seeds. So I went to the shop. Well, before I went to the shop, I made a list. So I drew all my stuff out that I want to do, my experiment for the yeast and sugar. I'd made a list of all my equipment that I need to buy and where I'm going to get it. And then I investigated a little bit about how much yeast do I need to put in and how much sugar and all that. And then I've also made a note of any questions. And I found some research online that I'm going to just copy and hopefully use that. So I got my materials. I got some bamboo sticks that I'm going to use later. I've got a little scale. I don't think that's going to work so well. I've got a couple of balloons for the first part of the balloon experiment, the yeast, sugar, water. I've got a timer. I decided, because my scale is pretty hopeless, I can't measure very small quantities, I'm going to just use measuring, either measuring cup or the spoons. Now I've got a little container full of all my goodies. I've got my seeds in there, I've got my pencil and scissors and stuff. Bought some elastic bands that I'm going to use later on. I've set this up already for my experiment with the yeast. So I've got bottle number 1, 2 and 3. I'm going to put one teaspoon of yeast in there, 2 and 3, and then I'm going to put warm water with sugar dissolved in it in each one. I think I'm going to put 300 milliliters of water in each one and 20 grams of sugar. But because my scale is not very nice, I can't, 20 grams is not going to be very accurate. So what I might do is measure out 20 grams and pour it into my measuring cup, see how much that ends up being as milliliters, and just use that as my measurement. Other things I bought, I set up the table with some butcher's paper so I don't make a mess. I bought some containers for my plants. This is for later. I'm not going to get to that today. I went to the supermarket. I got some gloves. I got bicarb because I'm going to test bicarb and vinegar as well. I got yeast, got balloons. I made sure that all the balloons are round. Sometimes you get mixed balloons and then there's only like 2 round balloons in the packet. I got some large plastic bags that I'm going to put over the seedlings. And then these are my basil. They smell lovely. I spent ages in Bunnings looking for basil so that they're nearly all the same size. And I got some potting mix, but then the woman told me it's quite strong and it will burn the plant. So now I've got to go in my garden somewhere over there and dig out some soil and mix it with this potting mix. So what I'd like to do today is get all my seedlings potted up into these pots and just let them sit for a couple of days so that they get a bit of a shock if you start transplanting them. And I don't want to put them in a new pot and then immediately start an experiment with them. I'm not ready to start the experiment anyway because I first need to work out how much yeast I'm going to use in my to produce the carbon dioxide. So that's where I'm at the moment. So I've set up my book as well. I decided to do a book with holes so I can now punch these ones that I've done. I'm going to punch those holes in there and then I'm going to stick them in there. I've also decided to keep a record of all the money that I've spent to buy everything. So I've got a budget, and then I've got, I don't know, this one is the experiment, but I might have some notes and questions as well. So this is day 0. So I'll start recording. I've already drawn up a table for my yeast experiment. Where is it? So it looks something like this. So I decided on not doing a control because I know for the control nothing's going to happen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, originally I had 7 grams of yeast from the research I did, but I changed it to 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, 3 teaspoons. And in all of them, I'm going to put the 20 grams of sugar, which I'll change to milliliters once I've measured that. And I'm going to use 300 milliliters of lukewarm water. I'm using 3 Coke bottles. I've put everything in a soft esky because the yeast likes to be nice and warm. And I'm going to run the experiment, should run for about 10 hours, but it's already, I don't know what time it is now. What's the time? It's 1:30 in the afternoon already. There's no way I'm doing this for 10 hours. So I'm probably going to start it, I'm probably going to measure every hour. I'll see. I don't know. I'm anticipating that somewhere along the line I might actually change the balloon, because what's going to happen is carbon dioxide is going to be given off and it's going to fill up the balloon. So I'm not sure how much it's going to give off, and I might need to replace the balloon somewhere through. My aim is to find out how much carbon dioxide can I get during daytime. It doesn't really matter whether it's daytime or not to do the experiment. But when I start giving carbon dioxide to my plants a bit later, I'm only going to do that during daytime. So in the research, it told me that from 20 grams of sugar and 7 grams of yeast, I will get 8 grams of carbon dioxide. So I want to check those figures, and this experiment took these guys 10 hours to get that production. So that's sort of what I'm trying to test at the moment.